Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Wednesday, August the 3rd. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Back after a couple of days away, and it kind of the news sort of was in a little bit of the doldrums as we're midway through the summer, getting ourselves ready for fall. I'm already seeing back to school commercials and advertisements, and it's August the 3rd. So for those that need to focus on that, I guess it's that time as you start to prepare for fall. The news started to trickle in. There's some arbitration dates being heard. We've got a couple of tournaments coming up. The Hlinka-Gretzky tournament's going on now. World Juniors will be going on a little bit later. World Junior 2.0. That roster was released. So there's a bit of stuff going on. We'll start with the Flames today. They made 3 signings last night. Of course, 2 were scheduled to go for arbitration. And those were Andre Mangiapane. They signed him for a 3 years, annual average value 5.8, so in the 17 million range. He he of course had a career high in goals last year with 35, 55 points. He was 6th in road goals last year with 23. So in the entire NHL. So he got rewarded. He got the bread, if you will, pardon that pun. So Andre Mangiapane, and some are really excited, expecting him to play with Elias Lindholm and Jonathan Huberdeau this year. And some have projected 40 or 50 goals. We'll have to see what happens on that end. But Andre Mangiapane re-signing. Oliver Shillington also resigned, 2 years, 2.5. He broke out last year. I think a lot of people would agree he was most improved Flame for the year last season. Him and Chris Tanev became a very strong pair last year. He had 9 goals and 22 assists with 31 points, a goal and 2 assists in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He signs a 2-year, $2.5 million contract. Of course, with Mackenzie Weegar in the fold now, still wondering what Chris Tanev's status is. We'll see what the pairings are next year. Of course, the Flames did bring back Nikita Zadorov. Nicholas Milosh, I think, is also going to be someone that might factor into this in a 6-7-8 role. You have Juuso Valimaki. You have Connor Mackey as well. So the Flames defense is, in terms of depth, stronger than last year for sure, in terms of the depth part of it. So we'll have to see about what's that. Also, Martin Prospal signed as well. 7 goals and 18 assists, 25 points with the Stockton Heat. We'll talk about that team specifically in a second. 87 games over 3 seasons with 46 points. He was also loaned out to HC Kosice, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points there for Slovakia. Now, the Stockton Heat, of course, moving to Calgary. It looks like the name has been changed to the Calgary Wranglers. Of course, that is the former Western Hockey League junior team, the Calgary Wranglers. No jersey reveal, I don't think, as of yet. So we'll have to see about that part of it. But Calgary they're getting that is their June team name, the Calgary Wranglers, for the AHL team. So get used to saying that. It took me a long time to talk about how the Abbotsford Canucks the Abbotsford Heat, but the Abbotsford Canucks are, of course, the Vancouver Canucks AHL team, and they Rick Dollywall tweeted late last week that they were close to bringing in a new goaltender coach to replace Curtis Sanford, and so there is. Oh, they did bring on the Calgary Wranglers did put out a new logo there. It's on AHL Wranglers, but the Canucks, they have announced that The organization has named Marko Torenius as goaltending development coach and goaltending coach of the Abbotsford Canucks. That happened yesterday. So he replaces Curtis Sanford, who went to Toronto, and he was most recently served as a goaltending coach for SK St. Petersburg of the KHL. That's where Askarov was. Also spent part of the 2 seasons as a goaltending coach with Sibir Novorsk and 7 seasons as team manager and goaltending coach of the Espoo Blues of Semim Liga. So he, Marko Torenius, joining the Abbotsford Canucks. Another signing yesterday, Jesper Bratt has signed. Actually, he avoided arbitration, 1 year, $5.5 million. Bratt is an interesting case. There was some speculation if there was a JT Miller 2 jersey that he would be one of the players coming back. 76 games last season, 26 goals, registering 73 points. Certainly seems to be sort of like Mangiapane, a player that's playing, getting better. So this is a prove-it deal for Jesper Bratt. So those are some of the signings. Meanwhile, checking out the Ivan Hlinka tournament here that is going on. We've got Canada plays Sweden a little bit later today. They are 2-0. They beat Slovakia 9-1 yesterday. They beat Switzerland 14-0 on Sunday. So they're 2-0. Going on today, we'll just look at the standings here of the tournament. Go here and we'll look at the standings. Sorry about that. Just pressing the button here. As I'll just have to hit refresh there. Here we go. Standings. Now switches to French for me, which I don't read very well. But Canada, Sweden at 5 points. Slovakia, Switzerland, Russia. That's the 2008. Sorry, give me a moment here. But anyway, Canada is 2-0 in that, and there we go. Let me make sure. For some reason, the standings are switching to French for me, and going to the 2018. I'm not entirely sure what is going on with this website, but Canada 2-0 right at this particular point in time. Today we've got games. Of course, Czech and playing Finland. That's 4-3. That was Sunday. So today's games, Wednesday, the Czechs are leading the United States, by the way, 1-0. Slovakia will play Switzerland. Canada will play Sweden later today. And so that's what's going on there. In terms of the standings, Canada 2-0, Sweden 2-0 in Group A. Group B 2-0. Finland, Czechs are 1-1. United States 1-0. 0-1, Germany 0-3, Switzerland 0-2. So see what's going on there. And then, of course, the World Juniors start on Friday, or start this week in Edmonton. Connor Bedard, Dylan Garand, Logan Stankoven, some of the names that you will be seeing. Mason McTavish will be back as well with that junior team. So as well, Kent Johnson with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Highlight that team. No Shane Wright, no Justin Sortlev, as they're getting prepared to play for their teams this year. Their respective teams, Wright, of course, drafted by the Kraken, sort of with the Florida Panthers. You wonder what chances he has making that team. And Owen Power as he's preparing for the Buffalo Sabres. And so that starts here. And the other story that has broken here as we continue the investigation with the Hockey Canada story. The woman named EM, who, of course, filed a lawsuit against Hockey Canada over a sexual assault by some members from the World Junior team in 2018, felt left vulnerable and exposed when she became public. She has been questioned a few times. She in an interview with Globe and Mail, she said something she never wanted to draw attention to. She just simply wanted consequences for actions, some accountability. And of course, the London Police Service has reopened that investigation. And Rob Talek talks about the coverage of this, of the client's complaint, saying it's been frustrating to see misinformation circulate that she did not cooperate with the police. Says some of that came from Hockey Canada. But the lawyer says EM, that's what she's going by, cooperated back in 2008 as she continues to cooperate today. And as well, of course, she's been questioned by Hockey Canada. She's been questioned by a few people and as well. So she's passed a lie detector test as well. So she's fully cooperating with everybody, and that investigation continues. We're still waiting for any implications over this and what's coming up next. I think we're all sitting and sort of waiting for that. There was a great thread from Gord Miller in regards to his participation in TSN's involvement with his broadcast, and he was asked about his participation and I'll just read the some of that for you here as we close this off. And of course, it's a long thread. 3 events scheduled. Of course, we got the Hlinka-Gretzky, we got the U18 and the race scheduled World Juniors and Women's Worlds in Denmark. She said, this was from July 30th. Our broadcast of the men's and women's events in August will give those voices and others a national platform to discuss issues in the game, addressing changes that need to be made and how to make them. These aren't easy conversations, but they need to take place. So we will broadcast. This is just a short part of that thread. You can certainly read that at GMillerTSN. And so we will broadcast the 3 events in August, telling the stories of the players from Canada and other nations, while at the same time asking hard questions and seeking answers. It's not an easy path forward, but I believe this is the right decision. So TSN is going to spend some time during the broadcast talking about these issues, and I think that's a great thing for TSN to do. It's time to have these conversations. If you're impacting 1, 2, 3 people, changing a life, 3 people, it's worth it. And that's the power of media. That's the power of what we do, is it can, words, education, advocacy, fact-based advocacy can change lives. And it's great to do that. It's great to talk about the signings. It's great to talk about the players. It's great to talk about scouting. But this stuff is also important as well. So kudos to TSN for that. Let's leave it there for today. Of course, you can follow us all individually on Twitter. Christian Schneidz, SCHNEIDZ, Tyler, TNOBLE, Sean Beardy, Canuck03, Devin Gordhow09. Of course, I am KEVOLE, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. We will be back tomorrow with our news pack if there's any other news to talk about, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.